Welcome back to Psycho Opinion. Tonight we're discussing the movie Talk to Me. Okay, well, Jen is out of the
I'm sorry.
synopsis name, so uh, here we go. So, when a group of friends discover how to conjure spirits with an embalmed hand, they become hooked on the new thrill and high stakes party game until one of them goes too far and unleashes terrifying supernatural forces. So, the director of this was Michael Philippou and Danny Philippou. I'm guessing they were probably brothers. It literally says Philippou. It's like PPOU. It's a new
Oh,
thing. So it was distributed by A24, which has been like putting out some real bangers, in my opinion. And it has a 7.1 IMDb. And get this, Jen, are you ready? Drum roll. I'm gonna put a drum roll sound in. Are you guys ready?
yeah.
Mhm.
94% on Rotten Tomatoes.
Nice.
Oh,
And
interesting.
justified.
Okay.
That
I
is a
agree.
huge number. That is bigger than all of the numbers we've been dealing with. The Metacritic is 76%. Yeah, it's pretty wild. What I like about this movie is I feel like this is a pretty original movie.
Yeah.
Of course, nothing is 100% original these days. There's always parts and little concepts and parts and stuff you can pick apart and be like, well, that was kind of like that movie and that was kind of like that movie. And yeah, I understand that. When you're dealing with supernatural, especially, there's been so many movies made that you're going to see some similarities. But this movie, concept wise, I feel like when somebody explained this movie to me, I was like, how are they going to do that? That sounds like it could be corny as hell. I don't know how they're going to pull that off. Just hearing the plot, not seeing the trailer or anything, just hearing the plot, and it's like, man, how are they going to pull that off? That sounds really stupid. So they're like, oh, well, they grab this hand, and then a spirit enters them. It's like, what? Okay,
Yeah.
but when watching it, I feel like it was super well done. I feel like it was very, very, very well produced,
Yeah.
directed, written. It was very well done. Is what I'm getting at.
And it had like little Easter eggs too. I thought was cute.
Oh yeah,
Like at the very beginning when he was like, "He looks elvish," and the boy was like, "Elvish," and then Eowyn pops in.
ooh,
Oh,
what?
Miranda Otto. Miranda Otto. She was Eowyn, and the mother
yeah.
was in Lord of the Rings.
Wow, I
Oh,
didn't even catch that. I mean,
I
I
thought that was
caught
so
the Elvish
cool.
thing, but I didn't make the connection with her. That's
Yeah, I thought that
cool.
was really
Oh,
cool.
that's interesting because I didn't catch that either. I don't feel like that's really something I would normally catch. Um, because I don't really care for Lord of the Rings like that. But
I don't.
we're not talking about Lord of the Rings though. We're talking about Talk to Me. So this movie is interesting. So you have this group of friends, right? And in the beginning, this whole scenario happens where this guy basically goes nuts and kills himself, stabbed himself in the damn head through the skull with a knife. And we
That
really have
was
no idea
really
what's going
good.
on. We have no idea what's going on at that point, but I think it set it up really well. Like you're like,
Yeah.
damn, okay, like what's gonna happen from here?
yeah.
Then we
Like
get
it
into this group.
really, at the beginning, like really goes into like a just like a bang. You know what I mean? Like it really
Yeah.
like
Mhm.
gets your attention.
Oh yeah, yeah. It absolutely. And so you kind of have no choice at that point but to be like, all right, I gotta see this play out. Then it goes into this group of friends, and that's when everything kind of starts happening from there. It's almost like a reset of the story. Which the one thing I will say is this does remind me in a sense of some of the movies we've been watching. Like we've just talked about Smile, for example, and it
Yeah.
doesn't remind me necessarily of Smile, but it's the fact of the cycle.
Right.
There's like so like obviously this hand has been around since God knows when, and it's going to be around until God knows when. And it's interesting because there's how many people has this affected before now,
Mhm.
and what's the future of this thing? It's really like we're looking at one situation involving this hand. Kind
Mhm.
of like in Smile, we're involving one person that was possessed by the Smile demon, if you
Yeah.
will. So it's kind of like just a snippet of the history or future or timeline of this thing. So, yeah, this group of friends, and they have an interesting dynamic. Once again, we do have some past trauma there. The main girl and
Mia.
Mia, she is so her mother passed away recently, and she's kind of really attached herself to this family, And her best friend is Jade, and Jade's brother is Riley. He's a little brother, kind of the tag along type, want to hang out with the older kids, and he's really close with Mia. So they go to this party where they're doing this, and it's crazy. Like I actually really enjoy the party scenes where it shows like the compilation of these kids getting possessed and just like partying, and
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
eyes are turning black, and their heads are going back. It's really, really cool. I like the way that they did that. And then we get to the point where the crap hits the fan, and that's when the Mia lets the little brother use the hand to do the thing. Sounds bad. Uses the hand to do the thing.
Yeah.
And for only 50 seconds.
Yeah, for only 50
Mhm.
seconds. So you got 50 seconds to do your thing with the hand.
Yeah.
Any anyway, so yeah, so they were gonna do that for 50 seconds anyway. So Mia's mom pops in because she's dead, obviously, and then the kid has the hand longer than he's supposed to, and I guess
Bashes
I guess
himself in the
yeah. So that's where I want to stop 1 second, because that scene is one of the coolest. It's one of the coolest violent scenes I've seen in a horror movie in a while.
Yeah. Especially the
mean,
eyeball and trying to take his eyeball out. That was
Yeah,
cool.
Yeah.
the kid is just slamming his head up against the table, gets trying to rip his eyeball out. He gets thrown across the room. He's slamming his head on another. It's crazy. If you're gonna watch that, like that's the scene, in my opinion. That is the scene that like
Well,
flips the movie upside down for me.
there's a lot of like really crazy and good scenes and a lot of gory scenes too.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think that's probably one of the top scenes, and that's when it really like starts to get gory and shocking.
Yeah.
Is that scene. But
Which
there's
is
like so many. There's so many like shocking, gory,
yeah,
crazy, brutal scenes.
absolutely. And that's the cool thing, is the beginning starts out like that, the very beginning, and then we kind of get into a sense of like comfort for a minute, like we're kind of hanging out with the friends, and things are kind of going okay, even though I see these movies like this and like Ouija and stuff like that, and I'm like, why are you guys messing with this stuff? I don't know. I can't see myself doing that. I mean, you could
I
tell me
would.
it's the coolest
would
thing
do
in the
it.
world. I bet you would. I bet you would.
Yeah.
I probably wouldn't mess with it, because
Curious.
I don't have time for that kind of stuff. I got plans. I can't get possessed. There's too much going on in my life.
Well,
But
I mean, I would do it because I don't really believe in like a lot of this kind of stuff. So for me, it would just be like fun just to see like what happens, because I really doubt that anything would really happen if I did it like in real life and stuff.
well, yeah, real. Well, it's a
But
movie.
yeah, exactly. This is a
Yeah.
movie.
I mean, I've messed around with a Ouija board, and nothing's happened. Even though there is more of a folklore to that and everything, not just movies. But I mean,
Or like tarot
I'm-
cards and things.
yeah, I'm on the same page
Yeah.
as you. I don't put a lot of stock in those things.
I liked
Right.
it. I liked like the party scenes because they reminded me a lot of like 90s like teen movies, like where everybody was like at the party and like everybody was just hanging out, and I really that was slightly nostalgic for me for some reason. I don't know, like the
Yeah.
Ethan Embry. It kind of reminded me of the Ethan Embry era. So I don't know. I really liked those like party scenes, especially
Yeah.
even like the beginning and then this party scene. I thought it was kind of cool.
I think it's because it was in Australia. Australia, I think, is like 20 years behind us in
All
partying,
right.
maybe. I don't know. It seems that way.
Well, they seemed very
Um,
free. So
Yeah. I liked the around the beginning time when it was like showing like the mother and like how she would like talk to her kids.
oh
And I
yeah,
just thought it was so funny, and the way the kids would talk too, like the lingo, like the slang.
Fucking weather's a bit how you going, eh? It's a bit how you going. Are you taking the piss, mate? Yeah, taking the piss, mate. Righto, mate. Not here to fuck spiders.
was hilarious to me. Like there's like some slightly comedic moments in this movie, which I think is great.
Yeah.
But yeah, I really really enjoyed like watching like the mother's reaction to the kids, like when she like pops into the room and I don't know, she says all sorts of things that are just like
When,
funny.
well, she's trying to like play with them, like, when's the party? And they're like, huh? Like, there's
Yeah.
no party. Like, what are you talking about?
And the boy's like, I don't drink.
Well, except for the other boy. The other boy's like, if we're having a party, I'm definitely drinking. But yeah, it was cute, and I think that really helped with the character development. You know, as
oh
far as
yeah.
getting to know these people and who they were and how they interacted with one another, of course.
Yeah.
Which obviously added to the overall value of the movie being at 94%.
Yeah. I think like one of the kids, one of the boys or something, I think he like calls somebody like a fetus, and I thought that was
Yeah.
funny. And I don't know. I think the girl, I think it's the main girl, says something about Gucci or something.
Oh
or,
yeah,
or Gucci.
yeah. Mia's
And I
talking
was
about
like,
Daniel.
Oh
I
yeah.
just thought that was like so funny. I was like, I like this slang better than I like our slang actually.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I think that kind of is a thing too, because honestly, I feel the same way when I watch a lot of British stuff. I kind of like
Mhm.
what they like the way that they talk better than
Yeah.
slang wise. I think they're more
Same.
interesting and kind of fun.
I only child I couldn't see the view more was he Mumbo.
Right. What did he say?
Said as his edge, huh? He only chopped him down because he couldn't see the view no more. What's he among them?
What did he say?
He said an edge is an edge. He only chopped it down because it spoiled his view. What's Reaper mooning about?
More fun than we are, I think.
Yeah. Like I love calling
Um,
people wankers. That one might be kind of old now though. I don't know what people
It's
in Britain
pretty-
say
yeah.
now, but
I think they've been
Bell
saying it
End.
forever.
yeah.
Bell End is my favorite.
What did you say?
Bell End.
Bell End. Oh, yes, Bell End. Yeah. I've heard that one before.
Apparently that's very
Mhm.
bad.
So we're at the party. The guy, the kid Riley, slams his head and everything. It's a mess. It's great. It's one of the cinematic gold, horror gold. And at this point now they get the kid to the hospital and stuff, and it's like, God, this part right here is like I can't help but feel for Mia so much because the girl lost her mother. Now she's in this position where she's found this family, her friend. She's become like the best friend of the family. She's kind of staying with them. She's really kind of like taken on being like, let's be honest, she was kind of almost more of a big sister than Jade was really. She treated Riley really kind of like her own little brother. You could tell that she really cared for him. And God, to be in that position where it's kind of, well, it is your fault. It's your fault that this happened. And, I really, that's got to be like.
Because she let him
heartbreaking.
go past 90 seconds.
Well, she really shouldn't have let him go in the
No,
first place.
yeah.
I mean, his sister said no. And I mean, his sister is, his guardian, I guess, at that point in time without their mother around. And I mean, I
Yeah.
really feel like it was disrespectful to her friend Jade and Riley's sister to let him do it in the first place.
And she kind of like talked really down to Jade when, like, Jade was like, didn't want to do it because she was like, take your thought dog and go out. And I thought that was kind of rude. I was like, okay.
Yeah, she was.
I would have
she
been mad
wasn't
if that was my
very
friend.
pleasant.
Yeah.
So, and then that's where we are. So that's really kind of the climax, if you will. Maybe not necessarily the climax, but we're really at like the point where things are changing. So I think it's necessary to go back, and I hate doing this. You can call me Steve, but I did forget one small detail, and that's that at the beginning of the movie, Mia does pick up Riley, and they're driving, and there's a kangaroo that is like dying in the middle of the road. Riley really wants to put the kangaroo out of its misery, and Mia can't do it. She doesn't have the heart to do it. So she drives by and leaves the kangaroo suffering. And I think that's relevant to the end of the movie, of course, and we'll get to that. So, so we go further. Now we're in the hospital. They're trying to figure out what to do. Everybody's kind of freaking out because, they had this toy that was fun, basically this ancient hand, whatever the case may be. And now it's really hurt Riley, so they're all trying to kind of scramble to figure out what's going on. And that's when they find out that the beginning scene where the guy stabbed himself in the head with the knife, the hand was there and was kind of passed on to them. And at that point, I'm wondering why they continued to use it, because that seemed pretty bad,
I have something to say about that.
Say it.
Well, on my second watch of it, which was a few weeks ago, I got the feeling that, like, especially when I'm like watching like the party scenes and stuff, that this is like a drug. Like this is like a new drug to them. This hand, and being
yeah.
possessed. Because like you look at the scenes and they're just like all like taking turns, like passing it around or whatever,
Yeah.
and like they're laughing and they're recording each other like doing it most of the time. And they're like obviously like getting a thrill from it.
Yeah.
So I kind of got like a drug kind of connection like to it.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
And the first time Mia does it, she's like, it feels amazing.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
that's interesting. I didn't actually think that, but that's a really good observation. I definitely agree. Saying that now, that yeah, absolutely.
Oh yeah. And then she brings the little brother into it as well.
Yeah.
So yeah, that can also be kind of like
it's very symbolic. Maybe in the way that It Follows was about STDs, maybe this movie is about anti-drugs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I doubt it, but maybe. I don't think that's where they were going, but I mean, I can see that.
There's another thing too that I kind of got as well, not just the drug thing, but like the whole fact that, like her mom died and she's been like kind of lonely. I think she didn't she go into like some sort of facility or something for depression or something like that? I think they mentioned that in the beginning. And I feel like she really like yearns for connection. And she kind of gets that connection when she's getting possessed. She's getting a connection as well as like a thrill, I guess.
Wow.
I don't know. I was like kind of going on like the psychology kind of part about it, which is why I like this movie so much. Is because it's like, I mean, it's got everything. It's like gory and it's very well done. And there's like a psychological like element to it, which I love.
Like the manipulation.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, that's great. You make a lot of really good points. I mean, I definitely didn't even go as deep as you did on this, and I'm definitely think that you're onto something with both of those points.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a really good call. So what happens with Riley is the process in which they use the hand is they like take the hand, if you will. You got a hand here. And they take the hand kind of like this, and then they say, "Talk to me." And then there's a ghost somewhere that pops up. You're looking at this, and then you go, then you say, "What is it? What is exactly? You may."
I'll let you in, or something.
I'll let you in. I let you in, and then so then the spirit enters them, and they're holding the hand, and then they have supposedly 90 seconds max to get rid of this thing. So they light a candle. They count down the 90 seconds. Lighting the candle opens the door. Blowing the candle out closes the door. Let go of the hand. That's how it goes. So when the kid is slamming his head and everything, they didn't get to close the door. So this demon stays inside of Riley. And I'm assuming that the reason that Mia is kind of hallucinating and having these experiences is because her hand was on the hand with Riley.
Yeah.
With Riley when it went down. So I'm assuming that she ended up with something inside of her as well.
Oh, I didn't know.
Didn't she also go over her time once? I feel like she did on one of the times.
She did go a couple seconds over, but the craziness didn't really start though until after the Riley scene.
Yeah.
So, but her hand, it shows a close up of her hand on his hand and the hand, and I feel like they did that to make a point that
Yeah.
She was touching it. Could be wrong, but that's what I
Oh.
think. So
I
Wait,
thought that she was sort of possessed by that first lady that when she first did it, and I think she went like over.
oh yeah, and then she looked in the
Yeah.
mirror or something, and she saw her mom. Like, and then
Yeah.
she was like, "Wait a second," and
Yeah.
then she looked again, and it wasn't there.
I think that first one that she did, I think may have possessed her or whatever, or haunted her or whatever you want to call it. Yeah. Anyway,
okay.
that's my thoughts. I could be wrong.
Well, one way or the other, there's something not right with her either. So
Yeah.
she doesn't want to be alone, so she invites the girl's boyfriend, who actually used to be her ex-boyfriend,
Yeah.
and his name is Daniel, and they dated when they were kids, Mia and Daniel, and so she doesn't want to be alone, so she asked Daniel to stay with her, and then she has this hallucination of this creepy ghost sucking on his toes. Turns out it's actually her sucking on his toes, which me and Rob, when we watched this, we called that. I don't know why, but we knew there's going to be some toe sucking.
Yeah.
And it happened. So, anyway, he kind of bugs out. This is when she's like, comes with the idea that they should try to have Riley let the spirit back in, touch the hand again, see where they go from there. It doesn't work very well. Riley's still possessed. And then at that point, Mia ends up kind of being able to figure out how to communicate with the other side. And she finds out that Riley's being tortured by the demons, by a little girl in the hospital. The little girl tells her he's not being tortured by the little girl, but she finds out from the little girl.
Yeah, I thought it was really creepy when they were like bathing him, and like she's like, Riley, and he like kind of comes to, and then he starts bashing his head again, and then he's like smiling. That was
And
pretty
licking
creepy.
blood. Licking
Yeah.
blood.
Yeah.
That was definitely
on the
a good
floor
scene.
near the
Yeah.
drain.
Who licks blood off the floor?
You know what that reminded me of, right?
Oh God,
Oh
so
my
many things,
God.
I'm sure, Jen. So many things.
No, Saltburn. The movie Saltburn.
Oh.
When he was like licking
Yeah.
some other fluid up from the bathtub near the
Yeah.
drain.
Well, he licked blood too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's right.
That
he
was. I don't know if I would lick anything out of a bath drain or off the floor.
Exactly. That's my point. I don't even
That's
care
good.
that much about the fluids. It's the
Yeah.
fact that you're like licking off an area that
Yeah.
is
Yeah. I mean,
probably
yeah.
really dirty and gross. Anyway.
Yeah. I mean, it doesn't matter that it's blood or dirty water or semen. It's the
Yeah.
fact that it's like dirty
Exactly.
area. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm gonna
Well,
say
maybe
I
it was
care.
Jacob Elordi. I don't know.
I'm gonna say that I care about both the fluid and where it is. But now we're at a point where we're trying to figure out what's going on. Mia's trying to fix this whole thing. She feels terrible. Mia pretty much decides with the influence of spirits that she needs to go ahead and like. Seems to me, and this is up for debate, but it seems to me like she's going to push Riley out into the road, and kill him. But at the last minute, Jade comes running around the corner and pushes Mia into the road. So this is a spoiler. I probably should have said that a minute ago, but we're talking about the end of the movie here, and I think this is kind of important because it is one of the best endings. And if you want to see the ending without the spoiler, go ahead and stop this right now. Well, no, you know what? Skip ahead a little bit, like, subscribe, all that stuff, and then watch the movie and then come back. But I thought it was really cool that they've kind of brought back around the kangaroo thing, first of all. With her being in the road and kind of that symbolic, this foreshadowing, if you will, of the kangaroo in the beginning. I brought it up. But also, she herself ends up becoming one of the spirits.
Yeah. I thought
that
that was really cool.
you see when you talk to me.
Very cool.
So this isn't talk to me. This is the average.
Yeah.
I did see that they sell the talk to me hands. You can get them for about $300. So I don't know. I may or may not.
Oh wow.
You could just make a plaster hand of your own hand, and it'd be way cheaper. I've done that once.
I've got
a
so
long
many
time ago.
projects. I've got so many projects. I don't have time for
That
that.
seems so cool.
Yeah.
What
Uh,
to kind of go back what you were saying about it, Jen, I loved the way that scene where she was with her dad, and spoiler for the end right before, when he was knocking on the door, but it wasn't him, but she thought it was him,
Mm-hmm.
and then he comes in and chokes her, and
Yeah.
then she's turned around, and her dad actually comes in and she stabs him with the scissors. I loved that scene, like, because she said that the note, because he presented the note saying that her mother had committed suicide, and
Mm-hmm.
then the mother like demon was like, "That's not me." I loved how that showed how manipulative it was,
Yes.
and I think going back to the drug, kind of comparing it to the drugs, I think that kind of draws from the drug thing too, is just how people can get so manipulated by that drugs
Mm-hmm.
and things. So I love that you mentioned that aspect of it, because that scene ties in it as well, and I thought that was just an incredibly good scene and how they did it.
Yeah. I agree. And like the whole like imitating thing, that's why I was like, I think that first ghost or whatever that she gets possessed by, that Mia gets possessed by, I think that's the one that like is imitating her mom.
Yeah, and it
Um,
sees that
yeah.
she's an easy target, and they're like, oh,
Oh, yeah.
kind of like how serial killers choose their victims. Like, they saw that she was vulnerable already, so that they knew that they
Hmm.
could get her.
Yeah.
So that's probably why it was happening to her.
Yeah. And I think that's also why Riley got it so bad because he's so much younger.
Yeah.
And you know how like spirits or whatever they really like to prey on people that are like younger.
Hmm.
So I thought about that as well. But yeah, very good points.
Very good points indeed. Um, the budget of this was 4.5 million. And it
Hmm,
grossed over 92 million worldwide.
nice.
Oh, wow.
That is a
That's
huge
good.
return,
I'm
and it
glad.
has a lot to say about the obviously the popularity of this movie.
Yeah.
Um, and a movie like this, I also have to say I'm kind of a little bit skeptical and afraid that there might be a Talk to Me part two, because there almost always is when they get a movie like this that makes so much money. It's such an original idea. They're probably going to find a way to ruin it.
Yeah. Probably gonna do a second one. I would agree.
And,
But I don't know if it's gonna be bad. We can't really like say it's gonna be bad for sure just because it's a sequel. There's been plenty of sequels made that were good.
well, I
Smile
think
Smile 2 was good.
Smile 2 was good, but I kind of feel like with this one, a lot of the mystery is already solved.
Mm.
I mean, not everything, obviously, but I mean, I do feel like a lot of like kind of know what's going on here. I mean, I think a lot of this movie, for me, a lot of what made it so good was that I was trying to figure out what was going on, and I kept watching it to see what was going on and kind of figure it out. I'm not saying a second one would necessarily be the worst thing in the world, but of course, when it comes to something that's really good like this, and you
Yeah.
know that I'm a fan of sequels, prequels, remakes. You know that I don't really have a problem with those things, but every now and then, certain movies come along, and I'm just like, that was great, that was a work of art.
Mhm.
Let it stand alone, like just
Yeah.
let it be. I kind of feel that way about this movie. I feel like it's a good, just let it be. It's fine the way it was. We don't really need to know anything else. It was wrapped up really well. It was good.
Mm.
Um, I definitely there's a lot of depth in there if you're looking for it, such as some of the things you brought up, Jen. And I also think that just for pure entertainment's sake, it's also not bad. There's a lot of good gore.
Yeah.
There's a lot of good. It's a good supernatural horror, and it's a newer concept. Um, it's not really like anything that I've seen before. And yes, like I said, you can see similarities with this in some movies, of course. I mean, that's going to be like with anything, but
Yeah.
I do think that overall this was a pretty original idea, and I really enjoyed it.
Mhm.
And so did a lot of other people, 94%. So I would definitely put this on my list of things that you should watch, and probably in my opinion, it'll probably go down at least on my top, 50, maybe, horror movies of all time.
Yeah.
Probably, definitely, a solid, really solid.
Yeah. I don't even remember exactly what movies came out in 2022, but I will say, not even looking at whatever came out that year, for sure this movie is going to be in my top 5 for that
Yeah.
year. Um,
Well, horror movies 2022. The original Speak No Evil.
well, I haven't seen that.
Um, The Invitation.
Oh, that was good. That wasn't really a horror movie though.
Oh, you know
I
what,
don't know if I
Jen?
saw that.
Jen,
Hmm.
sorry, I already found one that was better.
Okay.
And I agree with you because
Still could
I
be in my
really.
top 5 though.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Of course, and this might not even make your top 5, but I will tell
Oh.
you that right now, it definitely of 2022
Mm.
goes down because 2022 had the Barbarian.
Oh, okay.
That's
Barbarian,
right.
yeah.
Barbarian, and it
With
also
your
had
with your dude in it. With your
yeah,
Bill
yeah,
Skarsgård. Oh no.
his guy.
Oh yeah.
both of them,
Yeah.
both my guys.
Yeah.
I'm
Cool.
taking all the guys. So, and then we also had X and Pearl, which were very good movies.
Mhm.
The Mean One came out, which was my recommendation for
Mhm.
Christmas this past Christmas. We also had Beast, which I thought was a great movie.
Didn't see it, I don't think.
Oh my God, The
I think I've seen
Menu.
it. Oh yeah, The
Uh,
Menu, I liked that.
the Menu was incredible. Orphan First Kill, that was decent. The remake of Texas Chainsaw that came out, that was
Damn.
okay. And
2022
Fresh,
had a lot of good movies.
and the movie Fresh, which I'm a
Oh,
huge fan
I
of.
love Fresh too. Yeah.
So 2022 was actually a
Yeah.
very good and productive year. The Menu, Fresh,
Yeah.
Requiem came out as well. That's a shark
Hmm.
movie. We all know I love my shark movies. Texas Chainsaw, Orphan. Barbarian.
Yeah.
Wow. Honestly, it'd be hard to make a top 5
Yeah,
or 10 for
it
2022.
would.
That was a great year.
Okay, this movie, Talk to Me, would be in my top 10 then for sure.
Yeah,
But
absolutely.
I don't know exactly how I would rate it. I know I would rate it high, but I don't know which one would go first or second.
For sure. And everything that I just named would probably be in my top 10 of 2022, but the order would be the complicated part.
Right.
Yeah.
So, a great movie. I would rate it very highly. I would definitely recommend a watch. And even if you feel like we spoiled it, I guarantee you it's still worth a watch. You're still going to be like, wow.
Oh yeah.
This was the Talk to Me show. I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope you enjoyed the movie. It's a great movie. Please watch. Love y'all. It's easy.